Can nude photography ever be truly honest? The moment a camera appears, performance begins. A face changes slightly, posture adjusts, breathing becomes more conscious, the body suddenly becomes aware of itself being seen. And in that instant, something fundamental changes. The moment is no longer completely natural. It becomes observed, which raises a difficult question at the center of modern photography. Can nude photography ever be truly honest? Or does the presence of the camera automatically transform authenticity into performance? Photography has always claimed a relationship with truth. Unlike painting, photographs feel connected to reality. They appear to capture something that genuinely existed in front of the lens, a real body, a real expression, a real second in time. But photography is never pure reality. It is selection, framing, timing, lighting, direction. Even before editing begins, interpretation is already shaping the image. And nowhere is this tension more visible than in nude photography. Because nudity creates the illusion of honesty. People often associate exposed bodies with emotional truth, vulnerability, or authenticity. The absence of clothing feels like the absence of hiding. But human beings rarely stop performing simply because clothing disappears. Sometimes the performance becomes even stronger. In front of a camera, people become aware not only of how they look, but how they might be perceived. This awareness changes behavior instinctively. A pose becomes intentional, an expression becomes controlled, even vulnerability itself can become stylized. The subject may try to appear confident, or natural, or emotionally raw, but the moment they become conscious of being watched, self-image enters the room. And self-image is never neutral. It is shaped by memory, insecurity, culture, beauty standards, social media, and the endless pressure of visibility in modern life. Social media intensified this tension dramatically. Today, people are constantly curating themselves through images. The camera is no longer an occasional artistic tool. It is part of daily identity construction. People learn which angles appear attractive, which emotions seem authentic, which imperfections look aesthetically acceptable. Even spontaneity becomes rehearsed. This creates a strange modern paradox. The more culture demands authenticity, the more people learn how to perform authenticity convincingly. And nude photography sits directly inside that contradiction. In many modern photo shoots, subjects aim to appear natural. Relaxed poses, soft lighting, minimal editing, emotionally intimate atmosphere. But often, enormous effort goes into creating that feeling of effortlessness. The image may look honest while still being carefully constructed. And perhaps that does not make it false. Perhaps it simply reveals that honesty itself is complicated. Because authenticity in photography may not mean complete absence of performance. That may be impossible. Human beings perform constantly, in public, online, in relationships, even alone with themselves. Identity is partly constructed through observation. The camera simply makes that process visible. So maybe the real question is not whether nude photography is perfectly honest, but whether it captures something emotionally true within the performance. A photograph can still reveal vulnerability even if the pose is intentional. It can still communicate loneliness, confidence, tension, intimacy, or insecurity even if the subject is aware of the lens. Performance does not automatically erase truth. Sometimes performance becomes part of the truth. After all, how people want to be seen says something meaningful about who they are. There is also honesty in collaboration itself. In ethical nude photography, the image is often created through negotiation between photographer and subject. Boundaries, comfort, self-perception, and trust all shape the final result. The photograph becomes less like stolen reality, and more like a shared interpretation of identity. Not pure truth, but not pure fiction either. Something in between, and maybe that, in between, space is where photography has always existed. Not objective reality, not complete illusion, but human perception shaped into image. A mixture of vulnerability and performance, observation and self-awareness, exposure and control. In the end, nude photography may never be fully honest in the way people imagine. Because the moment a camera appears, people inevitably become aware of themselves. But perhaps honesty was never about removing performance entirely. Perhaps honesty is found in the tension itself, the fragile space where a person tries to reveal something real while still fearing how it will be seen. And maybe that is why photography remains so powerful. Not because it perfectly captures truth, but because it captures humanity struggling to be seen honestly at all.